Hello everyone, my name is Scott Lambiase and I'm the town manager, and welcome. This is Town Manager's Corner. As most of you are aware, because I'm sure you've all been watching, we go around, or I go around to different departments and meet with the department heads, and we discuss what's going on in their department, what's going on in town, ask for a little bit of background, and we just go over whatever's topical. It may be how this pandemic is affecting the department, or the weather, or whatever is going on. So today I'm down at the Abington Police Department, and I'm going to be discussing events with Deputy Chief Chris Cutter. So, Deputy, thank you for having me down here. I haven't been down or in this room in a while, so it's kind of nice to get down here and meet with you and see everything. Could you tell me a little bit about yourself and your background?
Yeah, sure, Scott. And thank you for doing this. I think this is great. So, so I have been here for 30 years. I hit my 30th full year in October. I started 30 years ago on Halloween Eve. They put some extra the shifts on that night, and I got my first chance to work. So, so 30 years I started here. Prior to that, I've always been in Abington. I've always been. I grew up here in Abington. I grew up on Summer Street in Abington, and went to Abington High School. When I was going through college, I worked for the school department as a custodian at the school. Oh. But I've always been here. I often joke with some of the people that I know and some of my friends from high school that I say, geez, I never left Abington. I've always been here. So it's been a great time though. I've really enjoyed it, and things have been great. So so 30 years ago I started working here. I originally started working part-time. And then I moved into a full-time position, and from there, about 8 years later, I was promoted to sergeant, and then about 8 years after that, I was promoted to deputy chief. So I've been in the deputy chief's role for probably about 16 to 17 years. So and it's been a great time. I really like the community. I love the people in Abington, and I've always been about service to the people, and I want to continue that, and I want to. It's always been the priority, and I work here with a great group of guys, and so with all that, it's been a great ride for me.
So let me ask you. I mean, at some point you decided, hey, I'm going to get into law enforcement. What was that trigger, or what was it the interest that made you say, this is what I want to do? Yeah.
So I guess with everything, and I'll be dating myself, but One Adam 12 was on the was on TV, and we didn't have 300 channels to watch back then. So a lot of us watched One Adam 12. So I had
I was Hawaii 5-0. It was my favorite.
Yeah. So I was watching that as well. But it was One Adam 12 that kind of stuck with me. But even as a kid playing, I remember I was always the cop. So we would be in the neighborhood, and I'd be playing with my friends, and I was always a police officer, and someone else was always the bad guy. And so that's where it kind of started at that point. Sure. But going through high school, my father had an interest in flying, so I kind of pursued that for a couple years out of high school, and I obtained my private pilot's license.
Oh, nice.
So that's where I was kind of headed as a pilot. Shortly thereafter, a couple years into that, pursuing that profession, I met one of my old neighbor friend, and we discussed the military. And he discussed joining the Army Reserve in order to give me some help with some college bills. So at that particular point, I started to look at the Army Reserve, and he was attached to a CID unit, which is a Criminal Investigation Division unit. So with his help, I was able to get into that unit, and I was assigned in Boston, and I was working in the CID unit. Went through my initial training and my advanced training and things like that through the reserves, and so at that point, I kind of twisted back and went back following my career to start to pursue my career as a law enforcement officer.
Nice. So you've been here for 30 years. Mm-hmm. Can you tell me a little bit about the changes you've seen in the department over the years, and sort of as you've progressed? Obviously this is a relatively new building. It's about 10 years old.
Yes. Yeah. We it's funny to think about where we came from. The building was, there was no security in the building. You walked in whatever door you wanted to walk in. When it rained out, we had buckets throughout the hallway to collect the water. I remember that we had one microphone on the center of the desk and a manual typewriter, and that's so when you would communicate with the officers with the one microphone, and you would have a manual typewriter to record the log. And we have grown so much. Chief Franey, retired Chief Franey, he brought us into kind of the computer age here, and we started to switch from manual typewriters to computers. We started having a CAD system, a computerized dispatch system. So we started to progress into the kind of the modern era here. As far as our manpower, we've fluctuated throughout the years. I think we have 30 positions right now. We were up to 31 recently, just before the COVID pandemic. We're obviously hoping that we can get back to that the strength of 31. Every position counts for us here, and so we've fluctuated throughout the department. Sometimes we've been as low as say 24 guys, 23 guys. And like I said, we're at 30 now. But yeah, this place is, this building, this facility is a tremendous facility for us. The guys that we have working now can't envision what we used to work with. The cell block, there was just a desk there, and so really. But as far as officer safety, this building is top notch. I mean, everything's locked down, everything's secure. We're sitting in now is what we've designated as the town's EOC center. So we have this area here that we can use for that. So there's a lot of benefits to this building. Some difficult cases that we've dealt with here as well over the years, and the offices have dealt with some difficult things, but we've been able to persevere through that and get to where we are today. And we've made a lot of changes as far as a lot of post-traumatic stress disorder wasn't an issue with police officers, or it was an issue, but it wasn't identified. Yeah,
you must have seen a lot of changes just in the philosophy of policing in general.
Exactly.
over the years, over that many years. I mean, I know it's we touched on earlier before the show, the segment, the police reform bill, and
yes.
And the what I know is you guys are fully accredited, and you actually are a very well respected and very highly professional department, one of the most professionals, and I've dealt with several on the South Shore, and I definitely rank this one very highly. You guys do an amazing job, and I'm sure you're proud of it. And that leads me to the next question is sort of ahead of the curve of other departments. Recently, you performed a management study just to see that, hey, is there anything else that we can do better, or what can we do? How are we doing with diversity and stuff like that? So you want to tell me how that's going and what?
Yeah, so I'm very passionate about the department, and I'm very passionate about the job that we do here. And so the management study came out, and it provided us with a lot of good things that we can improve upon. And it's like throughout my career, anytime I've gone to training, I've tried to, if I sit there for 8 hours of training, I try to get at least one thing that I can bring back to the department to make the department better. And I've always done that. And same with the management study. So the management study came out, and there were, I identified, or they identified about 50 things or so that we really could do better at. And so it's been my task since the study came out, basically, to take each one of those things and work to see how I can incorporate them into the department and make the place even better. I mean, that's constantly the driving force. And
they also identified, which was very nice to see, they identified quite a few things that you were already doing that were ahead of the curve, and other towns weren't doing yet. And so it was actually, there was a lot of positive things in there like that I was very happy to see.
Yeah, I think us being accredited in the process that we've gone through to do that has put us in a very good position. Most departments out there in the Commonwealth are not accredited, so we're in that elite group that is obtained Massachusetts accreditation. So that really helps us. That makes sure that our policies are in place, make sure that we're training to the level that we should be training at in the subjects that we should be training at. So that's been a huge help to us to put us in that position.
Yeah, no, I say you're definitely way ahead of the curve, and the citizens should be proud of it.
Thank you.
All right, well, another thing that's going on here is our chief is going to be retiring. He's announced his retirement, and I know the two of you worked together for quite a long time.
Yes.
But you're going to be stepping in, and you're going to be sailing the ship, so to speak, until we go through a process. But tell me what that's going to be like and what you expect to come up.
Yeah, so myself and the chief, we started at Abington High School together. So he was a grade ahead of me then, but we knew each other then. We both went down to the Cape, and we worked on different Cape towns the same summer. So we would see each other then when we were working as special police officers. I was in Dennis and he was in Barnstable. And then when we came back from the Cape, we immediately were hired here as part-time officers, and then subsequently hired as full-time officers. So my whole career, really from the time I was in high school that I know the chief, and so I've been working with him for my whole career. And the time has come that he's going to move on, and I truly wish him the best of luck.
Yeah.
There's one thing that I can say about the chief. He's helped an awful lot of people here in town, and I think there's an awful lot of people that are going to miss him when he goes. But on my end, we are going through the transition process. He's been helping me out with some of the topics that as a deputy chief, that I wasn't getting involved in. So we've been doing that since the decision was made that he was going to retire. So I think there's a few changes that we're going to make. I think with anybody stepping into a new position, there's always changes. So I think there'll be some changes. I think, but we're going to maintain a great place to work, I hope, and ultimately a great service to the community as I transition into the position.
Yeah, no, and I'm looking forward to working with you. I think it's going to be a great collaboration, and hopefully for a long time. So is there anything else you want to talk about? Would you like to tell the town, or anything you'd like to say to the audience?
Yeah, it's just, this has been a very difficult year for a lot of people. We talk a little bit about the changes in policing, and this with the pandemic has been a very difficult year. We've been doing things here at the department that we never had to do before. I mean, just donning PPE on all our calls and wearing masks at all times. It's been very difficult. But so to the residents and the people of Abington, I just want to say that we're doing well here, and we're going to continue on. I hope that everyone is doing okay out there, and I'm hoping that 2021 is a better year for all of us.
Yeah. Yep, I can say an amen to that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Thank you for having me here, and thanks for meeting. This has been great. And,
yeah, thank you.
Certainly, maybe we can do more of these things in the future. I think it's a great opportunity for us to get out there and just let everybody know what we're up to and what's going on. And they don't always have that opportunity, but. Again, thank you, and we'll be talking.
And Scott, thank you for. I know you're new in your position as well, and it's been a great transition. Working with you as well for the few months that we have worked together. So thank you for that.
No, thank you. It's been great, and thank you to everyone out there. I appreciate you guys, everyone tuning in, and we'll probably be filming a couple more of these before we take a winter hiatus. I think we're going to meet with our new Veteran Services Officer, Adam Gunn. So if you could please look forward to that. But in the meantime, take care, and I hope everyone's safe.